everyone, and welcome back to my channel for another Sims 4 speed build. Today I have a medium-sized suburban home for you guys. It's a family home, and I've done it with a light and airy sort of spring theme. The weather here has finally started warming up. We had a really long, cold winter this year, and so I was in the mood to really go all out with just a pastel, sort of floral designed home. I ended up using a lot of the seasons decor for the interior, and then plenty of flowers outside as well, so hopefully it will get you guys in the mood for spring. It's been a few days since I last uploaded because I was working on Little Simsy's Shell House Challenge the last few days. And if you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, you probably saw the photos of the house that I ended up building for that. I didn't record myself building because I wasn't really sure how long it was going to take or even what I was going to build at all. And it's a good thing I didn't, because it took me like 2 days, which would have been way too long of a video. But it is in the gallery for download, or if you want to just take a look at the pictures, they're on my social media. But it was fun. It was really fun. It was the first time I'd ever done a shell challenge before, and it was definitely a challenge. Anyway, getting back to today's build, it is based off of a photo of a real house that I found over on the Better Homes and Gardens website. And it's been sitting in my to-do folder for about a month, and I was just sort of waiting for inspiration for this particular house. So when I was scrolling through pictures and I was thinking of a house that'd be good for, a spring theme, I really thought this one looked like it would fit the part pretty well. The house is over, the real house is over on my Instagram if you want to take a look at it. This is pretty close to what it was, at least from the front. I only had just a very small picture of the very front of the house, so I didn't really know what the sides and back look like. But I could kind of see a little bit of one side sort of peeking through the trees, but it definitely had this sort of wraparound porch with a side entry, which I thought was really cute. So when I first started building it, as you can see here, I'm in Brindleton Bay. This lot is called Hindquarter Hideaway. It's a 30 by 20 empty lot, and I thought this would be a good place for the house at first. But then the more I got to building, the more I really associate Brindleton Bay with fall. And even though I thought cats and dogs would be good for spring, I don't know, this lot just kept feeling like fall to me. And then when I was getting ready to save it to my library at the end of the, time that I was building, and I saw the lot, I was just like, no, this is not working. This just does not feel like spring to me. So I ended up moving this house, which I've done with like the last 2 videos. I swear that's not something I do all the time, but for some reason, the last 2 videos that I've posted, I've ended up moving the house like halfway through building. I don't know, maybe I'm cursed now that I'm gonna always have to end up moving these houses. But anyway, you'll see here in a minute that I'm gonna move it to Willow Creek. And I think this particular house and the vibe I was going for with the spring theme, Willow Creek it fit pretty nicely, and the colors and tones of the trees. With Brindleton Bay, even when it is spring and summer there, I still feel like the trees are very fall-like. And I think that's because some of the trees, like their all-year color is like browns and golds, which, I don't know, I just wasn't really feeling like fit with all the pinks and pastels that I was doing for this particular house. But anyway, at least I got a good start on it here in Brindleton Bay before I moved it, which was fine. And the lot size was the same. Oh, here we go. So now it is moved. This is Bargain Bend, which is an empty lot that's kind of in the cheaper section of Willow Creek. And the reason I picked this lot is because the way it sits on the corner, I really felt like the side entry was perfect, you know, for that, because now as you're like walking down the sidewalk on both sides, it's like, I don't know, it's just like visually pleasing on both sides, because you've got, you know, the main front door of the house on the side. So I think it's really good layout for a corner lot. But anyway, I'm working on the inside of the house now, as you can see, just doing some floor planning and starting in the kitchen as usual. I really wanted to use green, and I love these cabinets, but the countertops were they're really bothering me because I just feel like they're not springy, you know? I've used these cabinets a lot in like Christmas houses and stuff, and I think that's why I have like a mental block when it comes to using these cabinets in the springtime. So I tried really hard to make it work for the theme, but in the end I ended up changing them, and you'll see that in just a minute. But of course, Parenthood, great cabinets, my favorite. I use them all the time. This green is really a perfect shade of green. It was just the countertops that I couldn't get over my problem with those. So I wanted to really try to stick with more of a pastel, light, bright pastel feel. The last couple of videos that I've posted, I have done quite a few of these sort of light, bright kitchens. In the shore house that I did, I think 2 videos back, and then also in that very first video, Willow Creek video that I did. So I feel like light and bright kitchens don't necessarily have to be associated with spring. But in this case, I was just really trying to go for that particular look. So that's why I ended up having to change it. So this tile is from Parenthood, and this is when I started playing around with like the different color possibilities. And again, I was sort of confused about what I wanted to do here as well, because if you look at that tile there that I chose, if you look at it up close, it's actually green and gray. There's no blue really. But because of the shade of green that it is, it almost sort of picks up the blue. And I think it works with the blue cabinets. Plus I changed the lighting a little bit in the settings, and I think that helped as well. Here we go. Yep. So I brightened up the lights a little bit too, and I think that helped. So this sort of green and gray tile with the blue Parenthood cabinets is what I decided to go with. And I do feel like it is a very spring-like color combination. That tile is Jungle Adventure, which I've been using in kitchens all the time lately. I'm obsessed a little bit, I think, with that tile. It's actually, I shouldn't say tile, it's I think it's in masonry, but I really love those blues. And those chairs are also from Parenthood that have the blue checkered cushions. So we're getting a lot of blue in this room, from the lights and the floors and the cabinets and the walls, and it's really, really, really blue. But this sort of robin's egg shade of blue, I really associate with spring. So it just seemed to be the perfect choice. Oh, here's where I played around with changing it to gray for a minute, and then I went back to the blue. Even with trimming down these videos and cutting out as much as I can, I still like just constantly am changing things over and over and over, and it's like I'm never satisfied. But You'll see even here in a minute that I played around with changing the walls several more times. But in the end, I think I did achieve the look that I was going for, you know, this spring look. And I continued that blue into the laundry room as well, which is right next to the kitchen. The way this laundry room is situated in the floor plan, it's right by the back door to the backyard, in between the back door and the kitchen door. So I thought that was a pretty good location. It's not really a mud room, but it's kind of off of like a mud room hallway. Anyway, you'll see that here in a minute when I go back to that side. I'm now in the living room, and this is actually the second living room. I designed an entire living room in that movie night out stuff pack and ended up deleting it all because it was too floral. It was overkill. It was too bright. I don't know. It wasn't really giving me the spring feeling. So I decided to go with this light green instead. And I feel like this sort of spring green and then that Garden Glory wallpaper in yellow, this was much more springy feeling to me once I started working with these pieces. Those couches are from Seasons, as well as the side table and end tables. Those are all Seasons, except for the coffee table. That is from Get Famous. Curtains are also Seasons. Bookcases are Seasons. I used a lot of Seasons in this house. If you're ever doing a home that's themed by holidays or particular times of the year, you can't go wrong with Seasons, obviously, because it's Seasons. There's that Seasons basket. I tucked it under the table. And I'm trying to stick with mostly shades of greens and yellows in here, with the kitchen being right next door in blue. I didn't want to use any blue in here because there was already plenty of that. I made kind of a little seating area there with the backpacks, even though there is like more of a main mudroom in the back of the house. I guess it really could come in through the front door or the back door the same. And I'm using some of those greeting cards and streamer. I never used this stuff, like all these window streamers and cards and stuff that came with Seasons, but they definitely help set the theme. I mean, I have used them for like Christmas decorations, but I haven't really used them for seasonal decorations before. But now I kind of really like it. I see the appeal now. It makes sense. Anyway, I'm just using that clutter shelf to put some things on these bookcases. And since I sized down those bookcases, that was a real pain to put things there because they're constantly trying to snap to like mid-air where it thinks the shelves are, but they're not really there. So that took some time. Now I'm just cluttering up the kitchen. I'm trying to pull out some blue items and spring-like items, that those pot of sunflowers, and I think I also pulled out some other Seasons flowers. Just trying to, you know, make it all feel very bright and light. And that rug is also from Seasons with the blues and greens. I think that when you're trying to sort of force something to match, which is kind of what I felt like I was doing with this wall tile, the more you can sort of add the color of whatever the color is that you're trying to emphasize, which for me in that kitchen was blue. The more blue things that I could pull out and decorate with, the more the wall tile sold me that it matched, even though I'm still not 100% convinced that it matched, but I think it was okay. And I continued that Jungle Adventure stone flooring out into this sort of mud room / hallway off the back and the back porch. Even though now that I look at it, maybe I would change that back porch to wood. I might do that before I upload it to the gallery. I don't know. I'll think about it. But in this laundry room, I stuck with the blue for the washer and dryer, but I ended up going with this different wall tile. If you look at it closely, it's green, but it also has blue in it. So it picked up that color in the washer and dryer and in the blue shelves that I hung above those. So I think it did match pretty well. And then out in that little hallway there, I ended up using almost like a turquoise, like aqua sort of color with the little table there that's from Laundry Day. And then out here on the little back porch area, those chairs are also from Laundry Day. So I feel like all of these blues and greens and aquas and turquoise, and I think they all kind of blend pretty well. I wanted to, it's a careful balance, I think, between getting too much blue or too much green. You know, I'm trying to kind of go back and forth and use both. And then here I was trying to find a shelf I know I've used in other houses that I was going to put plants on, and then I couldn't find it, and then I think I gave up. I don't know what shelf I was looking for, but it's like a white shelf that I know I've used, and I just couldn't find it. So I ended up using that little plant rack from Seasons, which did the same thing that I was trying to go for. So this kitchen definitely, I think, took me the longest out of any room in this house. Plus, I have a tendency to be really obsessed with kitchens anyway. So definitely took some time. I added the cat's bowl and litter box and stuff too. Or if you have a dog, you could just get rid of the litter box. And then outside, of course, lots of flowers, flower boxes, potted flowers, flowers everywhere. This little This little back porch is pretty small. It's pretty narrow. You could drag that out and make it a little bigger if you wanted to, like if you wanted to have a table or something out there. But since I already had plans to build a gazebo, I didn't really make the back porch very big. Okay, so now I'm upstairs and I'm trying to figure out how many bedrooms I'm going to be able to get out of this house, because I really didn't know until I got up here and started dividing it all up. But it ended up with 3 and 2 bathrooms. So the master bedroom has its own dedicated bathroom, and then there's a bathroom out in the hallway that the kids can share. And again, up here, I had plans to just stick with all the pastel colors, keep it really light and bright. For the flooring, I used the exact same flooring that I had on the first floor. It's like a painted white sort of wood. I think it's Quality Wide Plank, I think is the name of it, that I used in the living room. I also used on the second floor. And then for the walls up there, I also did that Garden Glory wallpaper, which has like that colored wainscoting at the bottom. And I used the yellow on the first floor, and then I used the green on the second floor. And then here for the bathrooms, again, keeping them very light and bright. This one is sort of a pink and green combination for the kids' bathroom. That's Parenthood for the wall tiles and Parenthood for the shower, tub shower. And then I was just kind of pulling some accent colors out of that tile with the pink. It's not even really a bright pink. It's a very light peachy pink that I grabbed out of there to use for the curtains. And then green for the floor tiles as well. And then the first bedroom that I did is blue with this sort of clouds pattern. The bedspread and the wallpaper and the light all have clouds, which I thought was very fitting for spring. I don't really think this is necessarily for a boy or a girl. It's pretty gender neutral. I put some sports equipment on the floor and some toys and a computer, so really it could go either way. Those curtains are vintage glamour stuff, which seems like it wouldn't be a very logical choice for a child's bedroom, but actually with these tall windows, that particular style of curtain works pretty well. And they're very light and airy sort of fabric, so I thought it went nicely with a spring theme. So now for decorations, I'm just pulling out more blues. That artwork is nice because it has clouds at the top, which ties in really nice with the theme of the rest of the room. And then here's where I put that sports equipment and a backpack. And then right next door is another bedroom, which I guess you would say is probably more for a girl because it does have the hearts wallpaper. At first I had this kind of pink and yellow bed picked out, which I really love, but after I started looking at it, I think it was a little bit too bright and vibrant for this sort of pastel theme I was going for. Even though, you know, yellow and pink, I think definitely could be a spring type, you know, color combination. I really just wanted to keep all the tones up here very muted and pastel and light. I've said pastel like 100 times, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it's just more of a light, washed out sort of color than a bright, vivid color. So the bed that I ended up going with there is kind of a light brown cream sort of striped bedspread, and the furniture is that same sort of light brown color, and that's from the kids stuff pack. And then a small computer desk on the side in white with one of the laptops from Strangerville. This bedroom is pretty small, especially because I had to cut the corner off in order to widen the hallway, but there was enough room for pretty much everything. I mean, there's like a little reading area and the bed and the dresser, and there's a mirror. The only thing that she doesn't really have in here would be a toy box. If you really wanted a toy box, you could get rid of that chair or that bookcase. I would probably get rid of the chair instead of the bookcase, and you could just fit one in that corner. And again, here I'm decorating with the different items that came with seasons, the greeting cards and lights and streamers and stuff, which I think turned out pretty cute, very festive. And then the last bedroom up here is the master, which was very small for a master, but luckily I was able to get the double bed in there and with access on both sides. As you know, if you want your parents or adults to be able to enjoy their bed, they have to be able to get in on both sides, so that's important. And in here, this color, it kind of started out green and then I changed to blue. That it's kind of the same thing that happened in the kitchen when you're dealing with this sort of blue-green aqua color. You pretty much have to pick one or the other. Are you gonna try to make everything look green or make everything look blue? And so I think this turned out blue. It's sort of both, I guess. But as long as it was sticking with the type of theme I was going for, I think it worked out fine. And that Morning Glory wallpaper is the same as the hallway, just a different shade. It's the white at the top instead of the green. But I think the flower sort of motif on that definitely looks springy. The only thing I noticed with those seasons cards is there's one string of those, and actually I think it's the one that looks like flags, every time I tried to put those on the window, the pattern on them disappeared. I don't know. So that was odd. You might have experienced that too if you've used that Seasons stuff before. And this last room here is just the master bathroom, and then that's gonna be it. And as usual, I've pretty much cut out all of the landscaping, and nobody's complained. So I think that's probably what I'm gonna keep doing from now on, unless somebody asks me to leave it in, but you know, it's not very exciting to watch probably. So thank you so much for watching another one of my speed builds. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.